Looks like I'm doing one of these again. Well, seeing as how we're in the middle of two huge plush projects, one being Mario on the Run 6, and the other that you'll see shortly after, and the fact that Austin is sick, now seems like the perfect opportunity to take a deep dive and defend Paper Mario Color Splash. Similarly to the structure of the Mario Strikers Battle League video, this will be structured in three main parts: story, gameplay, and extras. And unlike Battle League, this series has much more games, so we can really take a deep dive and compare games to each other. And that is exactly why we have the three sections, so we can take a deep dive into the gameplay, story, and extras of the other 5 games, and see which ones are better and which ones are worse. So without further ado, let's get straight into the story. The story of Paper Mario Color Splash is quite simple. After Mario receives a color drained Toad in the mail, he heads over to Port Prisma on the beautiful Prisma Island to see what's going on. Eventually, he finds a paint can named Huey, who turns into paper and teams up with Mario to collect 6 big paint stars. After saving the stars, Peach realizes what's going on, and eventually is kidnapped by Bowser, and is taken to Bowser's castle, awaiting Mario's rescue. Mario has to gather the paint stars and eventually make his way to the factory that Peach is being held in, then save the kingdom. And without spoilers, this game does have a pretty sad ending, but it is an incredible story and is one of the most solid across the series. So you may ask, why does such a good story have so much critique, and why do so many people hate it? And to that I say, not many people do. Honestly, the story in Paper Mario Color Splash is very similar to one of the most highly regarded games of the series, The Thousand Year Door, and that's why so many people love it. It is very similar to an already incredible game, and it really nails the execution in this game especially. So most people actually don't have a problem with the story, mostly the other things. But let's stay here for a little bit. What makes the story so great, and why is it executed so well? Well, for one, the game has incredible dialogue and is really funny. There are very sad moments, and the music overall, which we'll get into later, really helps the dialogue and the flow of the game. Another thing that's helped is just by the layout of the levels. It really provides a solid structure to the game, and helps with the story by moving things along progressively, and by showing the real world that Mario is in. So without rambling too much on the story, let's get to the second big part of the game, the gameplay. Now, moving on to the kicker. What many people believe to be by far the worst aspect of Paper Mario Color Splash is its gameplay. More specifically, its battle mode. Now, do I think that Paper Mario Color Splash has inferior battle mode to its predecessors? Yes, I do. Do I think that the card battle is bad? Absolutely not. I love the card battles, and it was one of my highlights of the game, and I know this may be controversial, but honestly, I enjoyed the card battles, and going back to the original Paper Marios felt off a little bit because of how used to the modern battle modes I got. The overall gameplay with picking up cards and using them is a bit lackluster because it doesn't really ever have an incentive for you to battle, but overall I think the battle mode is pretty solid. As far as the rest of the gameplay, not much is really complained about. However, while we're still on battling, I must say one more thing. I do not like the boss battles. The reason I don't like them is because you have to go around, search for one card, and when you find that card, it's almost a free win. And to be honest, in some cases, like fighting the snake, it is really fun because they give you hints. You have to try and figure out which card to get. I'm of course referring to the thin cards. However, in cases like Morton, it's just a free win once you find it. Now overall, I'm a huge fan of boss battles and how they work in this game, but the one card is a free win gimmick, I'm not a huge fan of. However, quite possibly my favorite part of the game is going back through each level and repainting it. It is a great incentive gimmick for replay value, and going back through and painting every single spot and trying to find it while getting every single paint star in the game is one of my fondest memories playing when I was younger. So overall, many people complain about the battle mode, even though it really isn't that bad. It could use a little bit of help, but overall, it is one of the best parts of the game. final parts of this game that are worth mentioning are kind of all compiled into this one section that I like to call the extras. This includes music, characters, certain plot development, certain character development, etc., etc. So as far as music goes, this probably has my favorite soundtrack of any video game of all time. And I'm not kidding. The soundtrack is golden. I listen and use a bunch of the music from this game in videos and wherever I'm just laying about. The music is so diverse, it kind of reminds me of Mario Strikers Charged, because each song is so different from each other, yet some of the songs from the same area have hints that they're from the same area, and they're not completely different. Needless to say, the music in this game is one of the best parts, and it is so charming from a game that is so underrated. As far as characters and development go, I really like the characters in this game, especially Huey. At first, when you see a talking paint bucket, you didn't really know what to expect. But after playing through the whole game, you really grow an emotional attachment to Huey, and at the end, it's very sad to see him go. Oh shoot, I probably shouldn't have spoiled it. Anyways, some of the levels are very, very unique, and this is something I kind of forgot to mention in the gameplay, but each level feels so unique and different from one another that it provides for an overall great experience. Not to mention that the map system works really well, with different routes being opened up to you after certain parts of the game are unlocked. In conclusion, this game is probably the most underrated game of all time. I dearly love this game, and it's probably in my top 3 video games of all time. Every couple of years I replay this game to try and get the same nostalgic feeling I got when I first played it back in 2016. It goes back and forth with The Thousand Year Door for my favorite game in the series, and I think this game is criminally criticized and needs to be played before judging it. Thank you all for watching, I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Oh, and also, I can't be the only one that is absolutely stoked for the Direct tomorrow. I can't wait to play Mario Wonder, and I especially can't wait to see the Direct about it. So make sure you tune into that. But anyways, that's it for today, folks. We'll see you in the next video, which will probably be a plush adventure. See you later.